Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. So the Temtem developers are having some sort of golden week for 1.0, which is going to contain spoilers for the full version. If you don't want to get spoiled, don't get out of here. No, you should not be here. Because apparently there's a bunch of information. We're currently, as of the time I'm putting this video out, on to day 3 of the changes. So there will be more, and I will make videos as we sort of get through the several days. But for now, we're going to go over the first 3 days of information. Perhaps in the next video, we'll go over the last 4, just so it's not like every day a Temtem video of me just reading. There's going to be a lot of reading in this video. If you don't like it, again, check out some of my other content because it's going to be very text heavy. I don't blame you if you don't want to read this yourself, so I'm here for you. Let's check it out because I'm really curious as to what they're going to be doing here, because we got campaign progression and Luma changes. Campaign progression, I hope they're planning on making the game less grindy. That would be very nice, but we're going to see. Hello, Tamers, and I'm going to make this bigger. Okay. Hello, Tamers, and welcome to the celebrations of what we've come to call the Golden Week. As 1.0 approaches, October 6th, by the way, we've decided to progressively but decisively unveil the mystery of 1.0 early on, for those on the fence about the immediate future, and for old players and new players alike. Every working day we will be posting. Okay, let's get down. Coming out of our cage, we've had a tad bit nervous. Okay, we're usually not big fans of talking about what's coming up in future patches, and there's some good reasons for that. We want players to experience surprises. We usually iterate a lot. Okay, that makes sense. Getting feedback when we're not ready to receive it. That all makes sense. I get it, because if they say they want to do something and then something changes, people might complain about that. So do keep in mind that some stuff here could end up changing. And yeah, let's just dive right in. There's just a lot of disclaimers, like all these changes are planned to reach the game on September 6th. Campaign progression. One of the key components of Temtem is campaign. Our goal is to create a campaign that requires thinking and preparation for matches. Not something ultra hard for most hardcore players out there, but instead something that requires a certain amount of implication and strategy. We've been tweaking the campaign and progression during early access, mostly easing the way and simplifying it. We're currently at a point where we're pretty happy with the player experience through it. However, one of the most common complaints is the number of forced NPCs you need to beat. I have made that criticism, so we're making some changes to that. Mandatory NPCs serve a good purpose in giving us control how the player levels up through the campaign and balancing the game's difficulty. We don't want to overshoot this change and generate new issues for players who skip all the optional encounters. We've ended up revisiting every area and reducing the mandatory trainers by 20%. That's fair, like I'm fine with that. We believe this number helps soften the oppressive feeling of having to battle with almost every single trainer you feel, while still allowing us to keep a good control over the difficulties curve. Along with this change means we're also tweaking the experience curve in order to compensate for this 20% reduction in trainers. This will effectively mean that a player who battles nearly every single NPC will have an easier path, since they will now get more overall experience. That's fair as well. We still want people to battle as many trainers as possible, but we hope that with this change, players will have a more enjoyable time doing so. And yeah, like sometimes you like to battle trainers later. Like sometimes you like to save some of the trainers. So I'm happy with that. While we were thinking about the experience formula, there was another change we wanted to make. Maybe not many of our players know, but built into the XP formula, there's a modifier that reduces the experience gained on an over-leveled Temtem. Temtem is designed around having a full team of Tems and leveling them up, instead of relying on 1 or 2 over-leveled Temtem. This is an important decision that new players need to learn, and one of the ways we teach that is with this modifier. However, we felt like this modifier was a bit too oppressive, so we decided to reduce it by 50%. This new value means that this new value means that you are still going to not be able to complete the game with only 1 or 2 Tems, but will represent an overall improvement and increase in the experience gain, especially if you want to complete every optional encounter. Another change related to experience is a new experience bonus for those who play in co-op. That's cool. While playing in co-op, you only use half your Temtem during the battle, so player felt that they were missing out on experience for the rest of their team. This was especially notable if instead of playing the whole campaign in co-op, you decided to break your co-op and continue solo. In order to compensate for this, we're adding a new bonus for Tems that are left out. They'll get a small amount of experience. Cool. Talking about the endgame experience farming, we're also going to tweak the defeated experience given by Temtem present in the Twai Shrines, which are the main place to farm for XP. We're increasing the amount of experience they grant by 50%. With this change and the previous talked ones, the total experience gained with these Tems should be about 80% more. That's awesome. Last but not least, we're also reducing the amount of dialogue for a good amount of NPC tamers. We've been revisiting the dialogue lines between battle paths and moving those lines to the dialogue path when you enter, you speak them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a lot of them speak too much. Upcoming change to the Luma economy. Lumas are one of the most important features in Temtem, especially for PvE players, and a huge package like this couldn't leave them untouched. But first, some background. Ever since the beginning of the development, we envisioned Lumas as a rare and exceptional thing that should only be available for the most dedicated players. We've tweaked the values related to Lumas multiple times in order to maintain that vision and keep them as an achievement for dedication. Even with those tweaks, Lumas aren't really that rare. Our current data shows that out of the players who've completed the campaign, almost 60% have at least one Luma. I mean, people are also trading them, right? On the other hand, and then like another thing too is like you're grinding when you transfer your Temtem. So like me, I have a Luma Magmus, but that's because like I sat there and grinded for money back when Magmus was like the method, right? So like, I don't know, it kind of makes sense. On the other hand, Lumas have been one of the key components that have caused frustration amongst the player base because most players don't share our vision for Lumas and believe they should be more widely available. Since one of the objectives for 1.0 is to increase our players' enjoyment overall, make things more available, we've decided to make some changes. Firstly, we're increasing Luma odds to 1 in 7,500 instead of 1 in 10,000. That's good because it used to be 1 in 8, then they increased it to 1 in 10. This represents a 33 boost on Luma odds that should affect every Luma-related mechanic, Psypark, etc. And we're also changing stat distribution for Lumas, upping them to a minimum of 20 to 25 minimum. We've also included, honestly, like me personally, I think Lumas should just be perfect, but whatever. We've also included the speed in this minimum, effectively removing the speed curse for Lumas. With the inclusion of telomere bugs, telomere hacks, I think? The name is pretty oh, this is a new thing, telomere bugs. You'll be able to learn, okay, this is pretty cool. Telomere bugs might be like telomere hacks on steroids by the sound of it. One of the most accessible ways to obtain a Luma is using a radar. With 1.0, you'll be able to obtain radars much more direct. We won't be spoiling this today. See you on Thursday. For now, enjoy all of these changes and tweaks we're doing to the radars in order to improve the experience while using them. Radars now will always find unevolved forms. This way you'll get the whole line. That's good. Every species of Temtem will now have the same spawn rate while using the radar. This means that radar spawn Tems will now appear quickly and constantly no matter the species. No more waiting for those 5% rare Tems. Thank you. Radars will no longer have expiration dates. This, I love this right here. Because sometimes you don't feel like hunting them every week, right? Maybe you just want to stockpile them and go nuts one day. Thank you. I might actually do some Luma hunting on stream because of this. We're reducing the number of encounters per radar from 400 to 300, effectively removing the first 100 counters, so you won't need that many encounters before getting a Luma bonus. That's good too. From now on, every encounter of radar will have a bonus of some sort. With this reduction, you will now be able to break for the radar from the first encounter. You'll have to keep this in mind. Okay, I gotta look into how radars work again because I don't remember. Last, since the radars will be purchasable, we're removing them from the dojo leader's loot. That's fine. There is another issue with trying to solve for 1.0 regarding Lumas, specifically regarding non-OT Lumas. Lumas caught by one and then traded to another. As you know, telomere hotfixes that are used to perfect a Luma cannot be used on non-OT Lumas, so the value of non-perfected Lumas has been decaying over time. We're introducing a new item called a Soul Binder, which will bind a Temtem to its current owner, removing the ability to trade them anymore, but allowing telomere hotfixes to be used on them. That's pretty cool. This item will be available for purchase in a new location. Okay, next one. Let's go to the next one. That's pretty cool. I'm very happy with them upping the Luma odds, and I'm not against that item that makes it so that you get up stats, but it just makes it so you can never trade it again. That way you can get a traded one, keep it, and then do what you want with it. I'm about that. That's pretty good. Okay, Golden Week number 2. Competitive scene approaches and changes. I'll put some timestamps in the description so you guys can like navigate this better because this is probably going to be a long video. Okay, day 1 post as well. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We got that. Okay, competitive scene. For us, the competitive part of Temtem has always been one of its key components, and we want to expand and promote it further. We've always been very conservative in terms of changes to the competitive landscape, both in terms of balance and in terms of features, during our early access because we wanted to have the majority of the team focus on finishing the content and complete the roster of Tems included. However, this all changes in 1.0. Makes sense. Temtem Showdown. Stop this. They even named it Showdown. That's awesome. Temtem Showdown is an in-game battle simulator that allows you to participate in ranked battles without actually working towards building the teams, capturing Tems, breeding them, etc. Having a battle simulator allows players to access the competitive ladder instantly and gives them more tools to freely explore and test new teams, builds or strategies. Ever since the inception of Temtem, we've tried to facilitate access to our competitive battles without going too far, like having ranked ladder, the auto scaling, all that, but it hasn't been enough. Our players have been demanding an easier way to access the competitive scene or suggesting that we remove all barriers. But we've been torn because of how that would impact the PvE progression. We decided to create Temtem Showdown game mode and release it with 1.0 or close to it. Remember, everything at this point is likely happening during the launch window. Showdown will be included as part of the game, and its usability will be fused with the rank competitive ladder. With Showdown, you'll be able to edit your team to your preference without having to train your Tems. You will be able to select the SVs and TVs you want, movesets, etc. These Showdown squads will only be available for ranked and friendly competitive matches. You won't be able to use them for other game content. That makes sense, of course. Dojo rematches, in-game tournaments, dojo wars, etc. This will ensure that the hard-trained Tems still have their place in the game, while allowing for much more dynamic PvP experience. This is 10 times better than anything I could think of. Like, I played a little bit of competitive Temtem, and my biggest thing was, like, I didn't want to TV train stuff. Even though it's scaled, TV training's still a lot of work, right? And, like, as someone who plays a lot of different monster taming games, I'd rather just hop on Pokemon Showdown if I want to get that sort of competitive fix. So I'm glad they did this. I can see myself doing more competitive matches. Lastly, even though the ranked ladder will use Showdown teams, you'll still be able to use your regular squad. You can still showcase and flex your Luma team and your hard-earned, traditionally trained Tems. That's fine. I don't like that I'm getting notifications for news on my Chrome for some reason. Anyway, Ranked version 2. The ranked format will be divided into seasons that will go along the seasonal tamer pass, explained later down the week. These seasons will impact how ranked matches are played. Balance patches will arrive at the start of each season, and the goal is to maintain the meta untouched during an ongoing season. Hiding the TMR in-game. We've seen a lot of complaints about seeing your TMR fluctuate creates a lot of pressure, so we've decided to hide it. The TMR is still visible while using the API, so the most dedicated users will still be able to check it using third-party tools. I don't like that. I want to be able to see my TMR and show it off, so I'm not a fan of that. We wanted to make tweaks to the TMR formula. One of the things... you know what? I guess TMR is not that bad if there's actual ranks, though. So they're about to mention it. I just read that a little bit down below, so never mind. One of the things we wanted to tweak was the amount of TMR lost against a lower TMR player. You shouldn't be matched against one in the first place, but that's another problem. We also plan to increase the TMR gains. Yeah, I did notice, like, sometimes I do battles, right? And I'd win, like, 4 of them, and I'd only get, like, freaking 80 TMR. And then I'd lose against one person and just drop, like, 80. Back when the PvP first came out, so I definitely am happy for that. We're also considering adding TMR decay, although we don't know if it's going to be needed with the season format. Probably not. After the end of a season, everyone will have their TMR reset to a new lower value, which will depend on their previous TMR. We're adding ranks and sub-ranks in order to replace the no longer visible TMR. Think of Gold 1, Gold 2, Silver, etc. from League of Legends. We're open to cooler names. Honestly, I'm fine with just Gold, whatever. These ranks will be distributed based on percentile population at the start of each season. So we'll be trying to... Okay, that's fine. We're going to add a legend rank, again, accepting names, which will only have the top percentage of players. This rank will have an internal ladder in which you'll see in a relative place amongst. So this is like the challenger tier from League of Legends. We're adding feathers as a reward for ranked wins, along with other current rewards for Pansons. We're going to try to increase the maximum possible TMR rank. The idea is that the Pansons will increase with it too. These rewards now are based on your TMR instead of your opponent's TMR. Okay. Feathers, and that's what you might be wondering. You'll know soon. So we don't know what the feathers do. We're also adding seasonal rewards at the end of the season. That's cool as well. And finally, we're going to add two daily and 2 weekly competitive quests. That's cool. Dedicated balance team. Up until now, balance has been something that we've been doing, maintaining in between tasks. They're going to have a full team for that. Cool. So they're gonna have community as helpers to sort of balance and input. Okay, that's a good idea. The only thing sometimes I do see with, like, some competitive games that are kind of smaller is like you'll have those couple like really good players that'll sort of dictate everything, and then they just dictate the meta in their favor. So like that's the only thing they got to be kind of careful about. Crema run tournaments. We love to see tournaments thrive. We've decided it's time to support the tournament scene by creating and organizing our own. Since we don't have any real experience with this, we'd like to see where it leads. To ensure we're off to a great start, we hired a dedicated member of the community as our esports manager, someone who's run several tournaments and has a good understanding of the Temtem competitive scene. We're also going to allocate a budget in order to incentivize the tournaments with cash prizes, and we are entertaining the possibility of doing on-site tournaments in Spain for now. We are still in the very early stages of this. That's pretty cool. Other improvements planned. First, a TV blender that will ease the process of giving enhancer fruit to Temtem. Okay. The current process is a tad tedious because you have to use each individual item one by one. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then secondly, we're planning on a system that sort of lets you drop your Tem someplace. You can pay a fee and have them trained automatically where they are. So, okay, so a daycare. Okay, cool. All right, number 3. All right, number 3. And this is going on all week, so we got at least 4 more coming. This is the last one that's out for now, but this one's going to be talking about Novas, the premium shop, and tamer passes. So we're going to be talking about like in-game purchases and stuff like that. Our stance on pay-to-win situations. As we've discussed multiple times in the past, Temtem is going to feature a season pass and premium cosmetic store. These features are planned to release during the launch window, just like competitive changes mentioned yesterday, so please don't expect these on day 1, but soon after. Before diving deeper into features, we'd like to clarify one thing. Every item that can be obtained from the Tamer Pass or the Premium store is purely cosmetic. There won't be any items that give you an advantage of in-game. None of the items will allow you to level up faster, train your Tems better, or anything like that. We've been pretty adamant about this since day 1, and we plan on keeping the same approach in the future of Temtem 2. We want these cosmetics to be a choice for our players and not an imposition needed in order to keep up. Yeah, I've seen people try to like accuse them of going like the pay for convenience route, even though they've never said that once. So there you go. Novas, new currency, and it won't be the last currency you hear of this week. Novas are the premium currency for Temtem, the main way of obtaining... Oh, it's kind of cool because they have Pansuns and then Novas. The main way of obtaining them will be via in-app purchases, but you'll also be able to obtain some Novas just by playing the game for free. Novas are a currency that will allow you to purchase a premium Tamer Pass and most items located in the store. This naturally leads us to the pass itself. The pass is strictly related to seasons and will feature 2 tracks of rewards, a free one available for all players and a premium one, which will only be available for players who purchase a premium one using Novas. There will be 60 levels of rewards waiting for you with 80 different rewards, 60 in the premium one, 20 in the free one. As an important side note, none of these items will be tradable. Makes sense. And how do you level up the Tamer Pass? Almost everything you can do in Temtem, completing activities, playing ranked battles, breeding up, etc., will grant XP. The idea behind this is to avoid players into something that they're not interested in and instead allow them to do whatever. Okay. For most dedicated players, Tamer Pass will also feature a new set of weekly quests, which include 4 free quests and an additional 4 quests available to users who purchase the Premium Tamer Pass. These weekly quests can be different tasks, but they will challenge you and explore the game a bit more and try features that you might not be so comfortable with, so you may end up loving. When completed, the quest will give you a big chunk of XP on that. One last thing to note is completing a premium track will grant you enough Novas to purchase the next season's pass without any cost. Even without the premium Tamer Pass, the free track will also feature some Novas as rewards, which will you'll be able to spend in the store or save to purchase for the next premium track. Novas do not expire, so you'll be able to use them for as long as you want. The premium store, on the other hand, is much simpler, featuring cosmetic items that will rotate daily or weekly. Players will be able to purchase some items using Nova, while others will be available with feathers. Remember them, you'll need to learn more about them tomorrow. There will be 2 tiers. Featured items, which are a weekly list of items that will match the season theme. These items are usually purchasable with Novas and will only be available for a week, but in later seasons they'll be included in the regular items pool. Regular items. These items come from a pool of items, and 4 of them will be randomly selected on each day. They're different for each user, so make sure to check them regularly to find your favorite ones. One of these 4 items will always be purchasable with feathers, so you'll be able to get something in return for your dedicated gameplay time. So what kind of items are there going to be? As for cosmetic items present in both the Tamer Pass and Premium Store, well, you already know a lot of them. Furniture, housing items, different hairs, hats, clothes for your character, and mounts, both Temtem and prop-based ones like a Super Secret and Moped, are amongst the ones you already know. However, we're also working on some new cosmetic items that will arrive on 1.0 that you'll be able to get with these new features. It's important that you know that none of the cosmetic items you'll be able to purchase in the premium store are tradable, so you won't be able to trade any of these nor any reward from the Tamer Pass. Want a little snippet? Amongst these new items we're working on, there are Tem card seals. Oh, that's pretty cool. An item that can be applied to any Temtem. When a Temtem is called into battle, it pops out with a Tem card with a new visual effect. Want more? Another one is battle outro animations. Okay, so that makes sense. Which are some cool new effects your players will do in a competitive match. We're working on we're feeling crazy generous, so let me tell you about the new sprays, which are kind of like emotes that will display some cool artworks in the field for everyone to see and have created for the occasion. Better not. This is pretty cool. And that's it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like, they got the different, honestly, like, I would buy a moped. Like, I might buy, like, I think the mounts are pretty cool cosmetic items. But that's it for now. We got 3 of the updates so far. It's the 15th as of the time I'm recording this, so we're gonna have to wait for more. But yeah, thank you guys so much for sitting with me for the last 21 minutes while I try to read all this out. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff coming to Temtem with regards to this 1.0 stuff. I'm very happy about the Temtem Showdown. I think that's like the biggest thing for me. And then the decrease to the Luma Odds. I think those are 2 things that are going to be a lot of fun. And hell, I'll buy a friggin' moped mount. That sounds pretty dope. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. If you want to stay up to date on Temtem or monster taming games in general, definitely subscribe to my channel because I put out new videos every single day. You can check out my Twitter, my Discord, my Patreon, all links below. Special thanks to our patrons, especially Jim Hamilton, Steel Case, Dark Persona, and Dro Ghost. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.